Smooth. I'm just trying to impress you, okay? I'm not even the kind of guy who comes to places like this. I'm a dork. I'm the kind of guy who spends 10 grand on Gandalf the Grey's quarterstaff from the Two Towers.
Yes, that does make you a dork. Especially since Gandalf the Grey was only in Fellowship. He returns in Two Towers as Gandalf the White.
Dulaman meduhan.
Kalemse whine glan leba.
Talking about the movie 17 again. Now this review is a little different to the rest on my channel because this review is going to be a review of the film like everything else we do, but it's also going to be a contest entry into Aaron from Screen Star's 1000 subscriber giveaway contest. Now Aaron does reviews for this channel. You may have seen a couple of reviews just here, but he also has his own channel where he does a very similar kind of like film reviews, gameplay, stuff like that. And he has reached 1,000 subscribers, so congratulations, Aaron, and thank you for your hard work that you put into this channel. And I'm really pleased to see your channel grow as well. So go check Aaron out. Of course, I will leave a link in the description box below. Please go check it out, give him some support. And it simply asks the question to do a review of a kind of guilty pleasure movie. Now he calls it, I think he called it like misunderstood masterpieces. Ultimately, a film which has not been critically praised, but you personally like. Now this was a little difficult for me because I've actually reviewed a lot of movies on this channel, a lot of ones that I like but other people don't. So I had to try and think of a film where it's one that I haven't reviewed yet. So we are talking 17 again. Now this one stars Zac Efron, and from, as you probably know who he is, mainly originally started from the Disney Channel and stuff like that. And I'm a big fan of body swap movies. Now this is kind of like a body swap film. So the story here, we have a character, Mike O'Donnell. Now initially he's played by Matthew Perry from Friends fame. And he's like a kind of like late 30-something guy who's kind of like getting divorced from his wife, played by Leslie Mann. Things haven't gone his way, and he feels like if he had kind of won this particular kind of basketball game when he was a kid, life would have turned out different, etc. He's got this kind of friend who is this kind of like nerdy guy who's kind of made millions, etc., played by Thomas Lennon. Anyway, Mike, the character, has through some magical means ultimately gets de-aged back to when he was 17. So now he's played by Zac Efron with a kind of the mind of an adult, but the body ultimately of a teenager. So to try and kind of like go on this kind of like path that's been set for him, he poses as a new student who is he poses as the son of Thomas Lennon's character, who's his friend. So he goes to this school and tries to kind of like right the wrongs that he feels like he's done in his life. Initially he thinks he's got to win some kind of like basketball game. Then he thinks it might be to do with his kids, and he's trying to help his kids, who are obviously the same age as him now. And then shenanigans ensue. So let's talk what works first of all about 17 again. So this movie has got a 56% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. So it's, by critical standards, rotten. But I like it. But I do understand some of the criticisms that this movie may have. So, but what works for me? First of all, this is a really positive movie. It's just a really fun little kind of movie where it's always kind of upbeat. It has a couple of moments where it tries to be a little bit dramatic, where Zac Efron's trying to kind of sort his kids' lives. So one played by Michelle Trachtenberg, who you may know from Dawn from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. But most of the time this movie is kind of very upbeat, it's very kind of fun, lots of kind of zany things happening. Now, Mike O'Donnell, played by Zac Efron, is like the perfect student. He's like, he's obviously super good looking, being Zac Efron. He's super kind of like athletic. he's got the kind of the now the kind of the intelligence and the kind of the experience of an adult, so he kind of comes across very well at school and everything. So you know, he's unbelievably perfect in every kind of every way, which does make his character a little bit, you know, not as interesting maybe as some of the kind of the side characters. But nonetheless, I think Zac Efron does a good job here of doing some kind of physical comedy, even though I think he's maybe a little bit too good. And like, is this guy really Matthew Perry when he was young? I don't think so. But anyway, one of the things I liked about this movie personally is just some of the kind of just the funny lines this film has. There are some good comedy set pieces, but to me, some of the funniest lines here was just some of the small little moments that the characters have. Just little throwaway jokes that I thought was really fun. Also, Thomas Lennon's character is this kind of massive geek, and there's some quite fun scenes that involve him. He has a kind of crush on this kind of female principal of the school, and they have a little romance and stuff. There's a really kind of like fun scene at this kind of restaurant when they kind of reference Lord of the Rings and stuff like that. And yeah, and I've got to say this movie has some kind of like some funny set pieces. Zac Efron, who I'm not a huge fan of, I won't lie, but I kind of quite liked him in this. What doesn't work? I mean, this movie is very corny. It's much like kind of like the geeky stuff about Thomas Lennon's character. This is what Hollywood thinks geeks are like, if that makes sense. So it's kind of like they go a little bit too far with it and just kind of thinking, come on. We're not really like that, but there you go. Yeah, and like I've said, they've maybe kind of made Zac Efron's character a little bit too perfect to a certain degree, and he's likeable, but he doesn't become as interesting a character, and everything kind of goes away. Everyone's kind of exaggerated. The school bully is just like, you know, a real piece of dirt, and he's just a little bit too much sometimes. You never really feel like this movie has any stakes, to be quite honest, and you almost feel like he's probably better off staying 17 to a certain degree. So it's a fun movie. I like the comedy aspect, I like the lightheartedness, and I always enjoy body swap movies. But yeah, I mean, I can understand why this movie has got a rotten, and things like Big and Freaky Friday are obviously considered the leaders of this kind of sub-genre. But nonetheless, I still enjoy this film. I like the subtle humour, I like the kind of the geeky references, even though they're a little bit kind of like banging you over the head with it at certain times. But yeah, for me it was a fun film, and I kind of enjoy watching it. And I've recommended this to a couple of other people who have since enjoyed watching it. But you have to be prepared. You're looking at some saccharine sweets kind of lifestyle comedy here. So that is my review of 17 again. I will give it probably a 6 out of 10. So that's an above average mark for me, and that's a critical way of thinking, but I still enjoy this movie. Even though I give it 6 out of 10, which might not be the highest mark, I actually still enjoy it. So that is my review of 17 again, which is my entry into Aaron's 1,000 subscriber contest. Thank you again, Aaron, for doing your hard work that you're doing for this channel. Please, if you haven't already, go and subscribe to Aaron, and you too can enter this contest. You simply have to do a review of a film that you think is a kind of a misunderstood or a kind of a fun movie that has got kind of like negative critical response, and obviously just leave a question in the actual contest video as well. So I think you've got to do. Obviously you've got to be a subscriber. Go watch this video, and it'll all be explained there. For this movie, like I've said, 6 out of 10. Have you seen it? What did you think of it? Leave me a comment, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.